Okay, what's up everybody? This is Les from Outstretched Gaming, and we're in Banished Souls here again. So this time we're going to run through the tutorial here. So we can just come up to this door here on the back, press E to interact, and we can start this tutorial. This little pop-up confirming. And it's going to bring us to this empty room here. And then you can see in the top left we have our controls. So you can change your controls, but these are the default controls here. And then this first room is going to be photo cam evidence. So we have a couple items out here, and we have a couple optional things too. So for optional, it says we can place a motion sensor near the X on the floor and turn it on. We can pick up the motion sensor, place it on the floor. We can also rotate as we're placing too, and then turn it on. And you can see how when the ghost enters or exits the radius of the motion sensor, it's going to flash UV at the ghost, making the ghost visible for a brief moment. So these are really handy for trying to track the ghost and seeing where the ghost is going, especially with multiple of these set up. And then we have a little flashlight we can pick up, turn on, and we can drop stuff too. So what we're going to do here is photo cam evidence. So it says take a few photos in the direction of the X. So we can pick our camera up and we can just snap a couple pictures here. And then it's going to say open book and check photos tab. So we can open up our book, click on our photos, and you can see we have a ghost in the photo. So the ghost wasn't visible to us, but the photo cam picks it up. And then it's going to say that the ghost pick will show orbs, flames, or energy. This will be your first evidence. Page 2 of the evidence tab will help you figure it out. So you can see we have orbs around our ghost in the photo. So if we go to our evidence tab here, this is where we check our evidence. And then it says down here, photo cam evidence, next page. So this kind of helps you decipher what you got. So the photo cam will reveal things you can't see with your eyes. Some ghosts will show orbs in the photo, others will have flames or energy. So we have orbs in this one. So orbs is going to be for Hunter. So we can go back and we can check Hunter. And then we'll get the door to open there. So check the box for the corresponding evidence we did. So we just got our first clue as Hunter. And we're going to head off into here now. So this is our second room now. So this is going to be our haunted item evidence. And this evidence is important to find as soon as you can. So drop an EMF by any haunted item you find and listen for the EMF. So all of our haunted items are in the book. Right now we have 6 of them. So we have the journal, the butterfly in a jar, hourglass, broken mirror, pocket watch, and the bell. So these are our 6 haunted items right now, and all 6 of these items will be in every map. Every contract will have them. You have to find the one that's the ghost's favorite item, and that will be random every time. So the way we find that is by the EMF it gives off. It says pick up and turn on the EMF, so we can click to turn on our handheld item. Find what haunted item is giving off the EMF. So we just have 2 items here, and I have the EMF just rapidly going off here. So it's going to go a lot slower in game, and that's depending on difficulty too. But as you can see, this EMF has taken me to the hourglass here. So if we're in range, we get the beep. It's going to give direction, distance, all that. And there's another item here, which clearly that's not the item. So we know that this is our item here. So if we look at our board, we know what the item is. So now throw the item near the X and wait for an interaction. So when you do find this cursed item, you can throw it in the ghost room. Wherever the ghost happens to be, if stuff is moving around, you can throw it there, and the ghost will actually roam to you and give you a clay tablet. And that clay tablet has a symbol on it. It says, look at the symbol on the tablet you got and mark the new evidence in your book. So that's our symbol for Raven. So if we go into our evidence tab, you can see the symbol here, and that's going to be for Raven. And then we can move on to the next room. So this is going to be probably the most important evidence to get. This is the one that's going to be tough, and you really need to do it sooner than later. Because the later in the match it goes, the stronger the ghost is going to be, and the ghost is going to be interacting with everything around the house. Which means trying to get the EMF from this, it's going to be a lot harder to get it with a lot of other EMFs going off. If you give the ghost the wrong cursed item, the ghost will hunt. It's not going to hunt in the tutorial, but in the game, it will start a hunt by giving the ghost the wrong item. So you want to make sure that you got the right item. That will give you your second clue. So if we jump into this third room here, First thing is going to be our Ouija board. So this says at this point you should be able to use behavior and determine the ghost type. But if you need to, you can always ask the board for a clue. So having 2 evidence narrows this down to 3 possible ghosts. And then you can look in the ghost tab. This is a pretty accurate description of what each ghost does. So you can use the behaviors to determine what ghost it is from these 3. But if you need to, you can ask the Ouija board for a clue. Asking the Ouija board for a clue will spell out the last clue. It also starts a hunt, and it costs you a money penalty at payout. But we're not going to get a hunt here, so it's safe to do and just check it out. So we're going to interact with the Ouija board, and we can ask for a ghost clue. And it's going to spell something out. So we want to see... So that's going to spell out sacrifice. So we can just say goodbye, because that's spelling out sacrifice. So we can click that, and then we have our ghost. So this ghost is going to be an apparition, which we would be able to tell. The apparition is going to have a chance to show as a black shadow in the motion sensor. So if we were to put a couple motion sensors in the ghost room and watch it go through the motion sensors, there would be a chance for one of the flashes to turn into a black shadow. And then we would know it's apparition. But in the tutorial, we're just using the Ouija board here. So now we have to find the death room. So we're going to find the death room. There's a couple different ways to find it, and each way has its pros and cons, so to speak. So we're going to place teleport sensors in the middle of each room and turn it on. So I'm going to grab the 2 teleport sensors. We're going to place and turn on. And then we're going to go into this room, place and turn on. And we just got a teleport. So this teleport sensor changes white for 10 seconds and it beeps to let us know that a teleport was detected here. And then it's going to say, pick up the sound sensor. We're going to turn that on. Scan both rooms for whispers and listen for the teleport. So we already listened for the teleport. It's already teleported a couple times. And there is our whisper. So the whisper is always going to be in the death room. There's one ghost in the game that can teleport anywhere. So if you do get a teleport, you really need to confirm if you have whispers in there. But the whispers are based on the EMF level in the house. So early on in the match, it's going to be a low EMF, which means you're going to have a low chance of getting a whisper. Once the ghost starts hunting, gets strong enough to start hunting, then you start having a good chance to pick up a whisper. So the teleport sensors are good in the beginning of a match, because you can throw them down in different rooms and try and catch a teleport. And if you don't get anything in a little bit of time, you can move the teleport sensors to another room. And if you can't find the death room by the teleport, then you can wait for EMF to get a little higher, and you can use the sound sensor here and walk around through the rooms, and you should get a whisper. So now that we know that that is our death room there, we can move on. I think we're done here. So it says that the ghost will teleport to the death room randomly. Also, the death room will give off whispers. Whispers are hard to get with low total EMF and easier to get with higher total EMF. So we now know what the ghost is, and we now know what the death room is. So now we're going to banish it. So it says make sure that the correct ghost is circled in the book, which it is. Place containment cube in the death room and turn it on. When the ghost enters, it will get contained. So we can throw this anywhere in here. Turn it on. Now if the ghost happens to randomly roam in that, it's going to get contained, or we can lure it in there. So if you're in a bigger room and the ghost isn't stepping in that by itself, we can burn a summoning scroll to lure the ghost to our location. So to use the summoning scroll, we just have to have a lighter in our inventory and pick up a summoning scroll. And then if I click to use my handheld item, which is the scroll, it's going to bring the ghost to that location. So if I just stand right on this cube and light my summoning scroll, that's going to summon the ghost right to that cube. And now it gets contained in there. So now it's only going to be contained for a short amount of time. So with the ghost circled, we're going to banish it. And because we got the right ghost in the right death room, we banish the ghost. But that is going to be the training, and I think next time we're going to jump in and do a few games. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.